Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to continue with the chapter number 12, that is Django URL patterns and views from the subject web frameworks. So these are the contents from the chapter number 12. From that we have seen that URL patterns, URL mapping. Now we are going to see about generic views. So here generic views means here generic views are different from classic views as they are not functions but classes. So Django offers a set of classes which can be used for generic views, and this set of classes fall under the module Django.views.generic. We have seen about views that it is a set of classes that Django offers a set of classes which can be used for generic views. This is a set of classes that fall under the module Django.views.generic. So your generic view is either one of the classes from the set or a class that inherits the properties of the offered set of classes for generic views. So that generic views falls under the Django.views.generic module. It is they are not functions but they are classes, set of classes. So there are 10 plus generic classes are there. Here for that we have to write like import Django.views.generic, then directory Django.views.generic. Here you have seen that multiple generic views are there like archive index view, create view, date detail view, day archive view, delete view, detail view, form view, generic view error, list view, month archive view, redirect view, template view, today archive view, update view. These are the several generic classes are there, views are there under the generic views. For that you have to import that Django views.generic module. Here for that we have seen we are going to see one example for the static pages by using the generic view. Here first here see that we have to publish a static page from the static.html template. Now here see that static.html page is like, for that we have to write html tag, then body tag. Inside that we are going to write one message like this is a static page, then close that body tag and html tag. So this is a static.html file. We have to publish this static.html. So for that we have learned that we have to do make some changes in the views.py file. Then we have to do some changes in the urls.py file. That means we are going to map that file on each other another. So for that, see here we have to make the changes in the views.py file like this. We have created one directory like my app. Inside that views.py file we have to make the changes like here. See, from Django.shortcut import render method here. So for that we have to define a static method here like define static then request, then we have to return render what to that we have to send the response to that request as a static.html. Okay, so this is the views.py file in the my app. Then we have to make the changes in the URL file, urls.py file, like this here. See, from django.configuration.urls, import patterns, comma URL. We have to import that patterns, comma patterns and URL here. So for that, we have to write URL patterns is equals to patterns, then the view name here, my app dot views, then URL. See the regular expression here are static. This is the page. Okay, then the name of that page here. Name is equal to static. So this is the URL for the static.html file here. In the url.py, we have to make these changes. Now, here instead of making the changes in the two file, the best way is to use generic views. For that, we have to make the changes in that views.py file. It will become like from django.views dot. Now see here we have to import that we have to use that generic file, generic module here. See, from django.views.generic import template view. Now we are going to use here template view from the generic view. For that, we have to import the template view from the module django.views.generic. And after that, write class static view and pass that for that class static view, pass this like template view colon template name is equals to static.html, so that we are going to pass the template like static.html as a template here. We are going to pass that HTML file as a template here in the views.py file. And now in the urls.py, we have to write like from my app.views. In that from my app.views, that means this is our directory. For in that we have make the changes in that view.py file, so that from my app.views, that means this file. From that file we have to import static view, that is this. We have to import a static view method here. And from django.configuration.urls, import patterns. For that url we have to import that patterns like url patterns is equals to pattern. Now see here, my app.views, that means it will move towards the views.py file. My app.views comma that url here, see, regular expression static, and here see here static view dot as view. Now we are going to access this static view from the views.py file. Okay. And here, after making these changes, whenever we are accessing that my app slash static from the browser here, see here, we have to pass the URL here like that your IP address and the port number slash my app slash static. Then it will show the web page like this is the static page. It will show the message on the web page. For that, we have to use that generic view instead of making changes in the both files. Like we have to write that instead of writing function for the uh, for displaying that HTML file from the views.py to, and we are going to map that views.py file on the url.py. Instead of making these changes, we have to use the best way we can use that generic views. Okay, so this is the advantage of that generic views. By using the generic views, we are going to create one class here static view, and we are going to pass that HTML file as a template here, and we are in the url.py file we are going to call that, or we are going to pass that static view to the url. Then there is another method for uh, showing this message by using that generic view. In that we have, there is no change in that views.py file. That means in this that views.py file is same like this here. And in the, we have to make some changes in the url file like this here. We have to import that template view from the django.views.generic module. Then that we have to import that patterns and urls from the django.configuration.urls, import patterns comma url. And in the url patterns we have to write like url patterns is equals to patterns that my app.views. From that url is, we are going to render that static page here, static slash, this is the we have seen about that path converters here. See, path, we are going to pass the path here. Then the template view, see here, we are going to make the changes like this here. We are going to make the changes like this here, template view dot as view, and we are going to pass that template name static dot html. So by using this method, we can also print that message on the web page here. Here you can see this here, it will show the web page like this. Okay, so this is another method that we are going to make the changes in the url.py file like this. So previously we have make the changes like we are calling that static view as view, and in this we are going to call this as template view dot as view, and we are going to pass that template name, that is static.html. Then if we have to list that list the data from the database, or if you want to list and display the data from the database, for that, here you can see that we are going to list all the entries in our dream real model. So for that, list view from the generic view is available. List view, okay, from the generic view class. So for that, we have to edit that url.py file like this here. For that url.py file, we have to write like, uh, from django.views.generic, we have to import that list view from the module django.views.generic. We are going to import that list view. Then we have to write like, from django.configuration.urls import patterns comma url. And we have to write like, url patterns is equals to pattern that my app.views. Inside that my app.views, we are having that view.py file. And here now we are going to pass that url as from the dream reals. Okay, from the dream reals, we are going to list the data like list views dot as view. Inside the bracket, model is dream real. Okay, and the template name is dream real underscore list dot html. This is the file we are going to access the data from. This file, that means we are going to listing the data that, in previous example we have seen that as a template name we are going to pass that static.html. That static.html file contains one message, and now here that dream real file contains that list of that, or the some data from that database. Okay, so here you have seen that, that at this point we are going to pass, or that variable passed by the generic view to the template is object list here. Then, here if you want to name it yourself, like, if you we will need to add a context object name argument to the view as view method, then you can write like this here. See, these are all are the same. You can just write like here, model is equals to dream real, and context object name is equals to dream real objects here. After that, if you want to add yourself, or you can if you want to name it yourself like this, so you have to add the context object name as an argument to the url like this, context underscore object underscore name is equals to dream real objects. So after that, it will show the associated template will be like this here. See, extends main template. This is the template file here. Then after executing this, like, uh, at the browser, if you are going to pass this URL like this, then it will show the data from that dream reals. From that dream reals file, it will execute that dreamreals.html, and it will give the data available from that file. Okay, so that's it for today's session. We will stop here. Thank you.